Good afternoon, I'm Vikram Oza in our quest to uncover brands and businesses that are bubbling under on Rising Stars here, as well as corporate leaders in the making. Today we're putting the spotlight on the fashion subsidiary of the Kishore Piyani-led Future Group. It's called FutureStyleLab. That's into fast fashion. They have a women's label now called Cover Story, for which the Autumn-Winter 2016 collection is just out. The core design team, of course, for FutureStyleLab is based in London, and they have an international team of designers as well as merchandising experts who quickly turn around fashion trends from international ramps. And apart from this new Cover Story store that has opened in Mumbai, the brand FutureStyleLab is selling through the shop-in-shop route at their central stores as well. Manjula Tiwari is CEO at FutureStyleLab. She's joining us on Rising Stars today from Delhi. Great to have you with us, Manjula. You have over 2 decades of experience in the fashion industry. You were involved in bringing Esprit down as well as Benetton. You brought these brands down to India. Give us a sense of the fast fashion business as you see it. It's rather different, wouldn't you say, from traditional fashion retail?
Well, you know, the fast fashion business is quite different in terms of the supply chain. You need to turn around what happens in the catwalk, and nowadays with internet, Instagram, blogs, and convert that into product very, very quickly, because the customer today demands freshness almost on a weekly basis. So from, you know, like you said, I've had 2 decades of experience, but in the last 5 years, the market has changed tremendously. And the expectation of the new consumer, the millennial generation, as we say, is they demand freshness, newness, and they're very, very fashion aware. So today's Indian girl is very much a global citizen and very aware of fashion trends around the world. And that's what FutureStyleLab does, is to convert that and bring global fashion in her context and as quickly as possible.
The key is in the quickness of it, but because like you said, with social media, you have fashion trends emerge and then spread like wildfire, as it were. But the kind of business that you're talking about is something that Zara has done over a period of time and done it very successfully. I want to understand from your perspective again, what the thought was behind setting up FutureStyleLab and keeping the design team in London as well. What was the thought there?
Yes, you're right. I mean, Zara, there are players like H&M, Zara, and many other fast fashion retailers around the world. We are India's first fast fashion brand, and we understand the Indian consumers well. So our product is quick. We take the Western trends and we translate them into products in India very quickly, but we always keep the Indian consumers in mind. So the product we put out is also relevant in the social and cultural context of our country and the expectation of our consumer. You know, the group is a pioneering retailer in India, and we've always watched the Indian consumer space very, very closely and understand the trends very well. So we saw this as a huge opportunity. The idea of having this in London is, you know, London is the hub of fashion. It's at crossroads between US and Europe, and most of the brands are available there. The street style is very, very important. So having a design center there gives us literally finger on the pulse as the trends happen. And here, time is of essence. So it was really, really important for us to keep our design center there, to be able to translate in real time all the trends that are emerging around the world.
Sure, fair enough. But while the design team is in London, Manjula, you've divided your manufacturing in India and Korea and in China. I'm just wondering why you didn't have a concentrated manufacturing hub. How does that help?
Well, you know, we have a global handwriting, and we love to produce in India because our logistics and lead time are shorter and we can control the production. But there are certain products, certain fabrications that are available in, let's say, Korea or China or Sri Lanka or Turkey. We are going to be competing with global players in India, and therefore all our product, the width has to have a global handwriting. So, you know, we do have to go to the locations where a certain kind of product is possible to make. So while it is more efficient to have it in one location, but at the end of the day, the consumer expectation and the product line for us is the most important.
So will the product line differ greatly when you say you've divided your manufacturing hubs in these different geographies in Korea and China as well as in India? Tell us about the variation that you're going to bring, because there is the quickness aspect of fast fashion, but also there is the variety that you need to create as well. So within the different geographies that I'm sure that you must be targeting to create in the future for your products, how does that really play out?
See, it's really driven by the raw materials. So we produce almost 70% in India, and there is a huge amount of variety available in India itself, and we have dedicated and captive manufacturing capacity available to us so that we can turn around even within 4 weeks from design to store. So, but the balance 30 to 40% is driven by the kind of fabrics that are available in these countries. Indian fabric supply chain is catching up, but there is a lot of quick turnaround on new fabric developments that happen out of Korea and China. So I would say it's more variety will come in the form of fabrics, in form of certain kind of special knitwear or special outerwear such as jackets and coats, which we may not be so specialized in India with. So our effort is to give the customer a width of product categories, and therefore we do source this out. But as I said, almost 70% of our product is still manufactured in India, which allows us to replenish and to really very quickly react to trends and have captive manufacturing that we can, within 4 weeks we can turn around something that is selling really fast in our stores and replace it with similar products.
Yeah. But about the retailing part, the sales points as well, Manjula. Until recently, you were putting out your fast fashion in central stores, I understand, as shops in shop. But now your first store has come up at Infinity Mall in Mumbai. It's called Cover Story, where you're catering to the modern Indian woman, like you call her. The size of the Cover Story store that you've opened up, I understand, is just 1,000 square feet. And then when you compare that to Zara stores, they seem much larger. They give you that sense of buying space, and also you come away feeling that there is that much more variety in the offering when you have a space that large. Don't you agree with that?
This phase, when the summer 16 collection that we had launched was more of a prototyping stage for the brand, where we were really getting customer reaction to our product. And, we have designed everything from scratch. So our store environment, our product, our pricing. So you will see a lot of larger stores coming up now. Our Central is our own chain, part of Future Group, and again, a great testing and launching pad for us. We were able to also gauge reactions in tier 2 cities where Central is present, and we've had tremendous response. So as we roll out, our standalone stores will be an important distribution channel for us, and they will be much larger than they are currently. The first phase of the brand prototyping and testing has gone extremely well. We've had great customer response and super repeat customer. So we are now expanding and rolling out more stores, and there'll be much larger spaces than we see now. So we have actually 2 stores now, one in Delhi as well.
Right, fair enough. So now that you're talking about that kind of traction that you're already getting, what do you think is driving it? Is it pricing really? And I want to understand if that is the way that you're growing, and that you're growing out of this test phase, like you're calling it. How are you planning to expand this brick and mortar presence as well? Is it going to be largely in the metros right now, since you mentioned Mumbai and Delhi? How is it going to grow from here on?
Well, it's a very, very scalable model. I think the supply chain part of it is the most difficult one, and this is therefore we were, making sure that that is in place before we roll out, because many a time a great retail concept, if not backed by a great supply chain behind it, can falter. So we really focused on that, on our product, on our design and our supply chain. We intend to roll out almost 50 stores in the next 3 years of good size, great customer experience. But I would say that our brick and mortar will be concurrent to our own website. We have partnered with Myntra, so we are exclusively available on Myntra with fantastic response on that channel. So I believe in making sure you have brick and mortar, you have also an online presence, because both these things simultaneously will create touch points for the brand wherever the customer wishes to see it. Today, the customer is equally active online as they are on brick and mortar. So I think our effort will be to roll out our own stores very aggressively and large formats, and then get into also simultaneously have an online presence.
No, so I was trying to get at the USP that you're building into your offerings as well. Considering that the competition is biting at your heels right now, we did mention a Zara, there is all of the action in the online space. Of course, you've partnered with Myntra as well. You were yourself part of Jabong, so you understand how the online space works as well. But to build USPs, to build pricing that is going to be the most attractive feature of your offering, how have you gone about it? What's the strategy there?
See, I believe that the market is so humongous, and it's what we are witnessing now is just the awakening of the consumer consumption of fashion. So the younger women, they're just switching over to Western wear, and this market opportunity is huge, and there is room for more players than what we have today. Our USP is that we are really catering to the Indian consumer and bringing the most fresh catwalk and global trends to her. We make sure the fit works for them. We make sure the colors work for them. We make sure that the fabrics that are selected are working for our weather, for our climate. You know, we understand our consumer the best, but we also have a very global, very global aesthetic as well. So the balance of the two is really what has driven Cover Story's success so far, and it will continue to do so. It's because we know our customer, we know the girl very well. We know what she needs when she goes to work, when she's going out in the evening, and we are able to cater. And we continuously, of course, improve our product line. Our footwear has done extremely well.
Is that the crucial edge that you have? Because a lot of these foreign brands, they will have a sense of quick, fast fashion, as it were. But to be able to understand the Indian woman, does it require a different sense of aesthetics that you bring to the table? And in terms of being able to give them the cuts, etc., that would suit an Indian lady that much better? Is that what is going to happen? Because, you know, the nicks and cuts, etc., and the quick turnaround as well, those could be leveraged on because you have a sense of fashion retail as it works in this country.
See, absolutely. I mean, a dress, when you sell a dress, it has to fit well, because women's clothing, if it does not fit, then, you know, however nice it might be, however cheap it might be, it's not going to work. So because we understand our consumer so well, and we can create a product that works for them in all the different usage occasions across, I think that's a great USP for an Indian company. I think we need to be very confident of that knowledge that we have had as Future Group over the years. We have a customer base across the country. We understand the Indian customer, and we understand what their aspirations and what kind of user interface, what kind of experience they're looking for. So you're absolutely right. That is our edge.
Fashion involves that quick turnaround. So how are we likely to see a turnaround from design to store, as well as the turnaround in offerings? That is to say, you know, how often are we going to see you hit that refresh button on Cover Story in a year's time, for example?
Every Thursday, we already dispatch new styles. So we refresh our new styles every Thursday. So our stores, we turn around from design to stores within 60 days. And we also turn around some quick lead times within 4 weeks. And this means from the sketch of the designer in UK to our store. Every Thursday we replenish 10% of our styles. So there's freshness. And we're already seeing reactions in, for example, in Malad, we have customers dropping in 2 to 3 times a week. So that's tremendous for a brand which is just new and just started. And there is a great amount of confidence that the customer has reposed in our product offering.
Have you made projections for every store that you hope to create now? Is there a benchmark that you've laid down, considering that you have this going on at Infinity Mall now with Cover Story in place? I'm sure you're setting your target somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, for example, we have a store in Mall of India, Noida, which is already trading at the density of their best performing Western wear brands. So even in our centrals, we are selling, our trading density is equivalent to all the top brands, or if not more actually. So, so we have set our benchmarks, but I think it's too early. I think we will do better even. And this was our first season. Our new collection is just out. In fact, it's just out today, and we've shot a beautiful campaign in London. It's called Time Traveler. So, you know, it's the first year of operations of the brand. What I can say, my takeaway is that come what may, as many brands there might be, as long as your product is good, as long as you are committed to making sure you give the customer what she wants, and even better quality than what she is expecting for the price, and you're affordable, and you treat the customer with respect, you don't underestimate the customer, she knows more than what we do. I think there is room for a lot of brands. You just need to be true to the brand ethos at all times.
And perhaps there will be more brands, and perhaps you will take the customer profile beyond just women to men as well, because there is the opportunity over there that, like many of your competition, is aiming for. We hope that happens not too distant into the future. Manjula, we wish you great luck. Thanks very much for joining us in Rising Stars here on BTVI.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for making time to stay with us here on BTVI. A lot more action follows right after a very small break. I'm Vikram Oza from me and the team. Bye-bye.